And we're live.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the Wow Podcast.
I'm Betsy.
And I am Jared. And
today's show's gross all around.
You know what? There is not a subject on here that's not disgusting on today's show.
So gross. I hope you're ready. I hope that you either haven't just eaten or don't plan to eat following.
If you do,
skip it.
I would pair a nice red wine tonight.
Ew.
I would.
Oh, gross. So gross.
But tonight we're talking about Armin Meiwes, is how I believe you say it. But it's Armin, it's spelled Meiwes. And Armin is an interesting fellow. All right, hold on. We're going to have some feedback for just a second. Tonight we're talking about boom. All right. But anyway, so Armin is a German. Regular German, looks like a normal dude if you look him up, but we'll kind of go through his story. He was born in December 1961. He was a computer repair technician. Now, I've heard different stories that he was a computer engineer that did computer repairs, all this other stuff. But anyways, old Armin
spent way too much time with his computer.
He grew up on a small town. And when he was young, his father left. His father up and deserted the family. His mom wasn't like an evil mom. She was probably, controlling and whatever else like moms are known to sometimes do. But, she wasn't evil. She didn't abuse him or any of that other stuff. So kind of lived that idyllic childhood. Anyhow. So I believe it was 2002, I may as well just read the stuff instead of shooting off the hip. So he's raised by his mom. He talks about how his childhood was idyllic. They had a little farm and loved it and humana. And he lived in Rothenburg, Germany.
Okay.
So anyways, his mom dies in 2002, if I remember. Or in 2001. Oh, she died in 99.
Okay.
Am I right? Yeah. Yeah. Her name was Waltrid. I'm going to let that simmer for a minute.
It's like Mildred and Walter put together. Waltrid. It's a compound word.
That's a fine German name.
Waltrid.
So anyway, growing up after his dad left, he felt alone a lot. So he started having imaginary friends. And one of these he imagined was a little blonde-haired brother.
Okay.
And he always wanted, and then soon those imaginations started turning weird. But we'll get to that in a minute. So anyways, his mom dies in 99. He was still living with her. And if you look at pictures of the house, you can tell it was a total grandma's house, a lot of
yellow.
Pastel colorings, like pastel pinks and peaches, and there was little glass figurines everywhere, and there was a couch that would have had plastic on it had Armin went and made a grandchild for, the tub was, I think, lime green, like a good 60s tub should be, and or that 60s era green,
like olive.
Yeah, olive, but pastelier, I guess, is that the word I'm looking for?
A new word.
Yeah. Not quite the color of your Yeti cup, but
getting close.
Not quite forest green, kind of mixed in the middle. So Armin had kind of a dark fantasy. And it kind of centered around this imaginary brother, I think, is listening to the story is where it started. He was lonely. So he dreams up this imaginary brother. And somewhere in his mind, somewhere down the line, he starts thinking, I would eat him so he would be with me forever.
His brother. Imaginary be it, but
Yeah. So he starts imagining that, in his teens. Well, his mom passes away, and he, of course, is in his, I think, late 30s at the time. And he's finally kind of free to do what he wanted because no way was his mom going to allow him to facilitate these dreams. So he started leaning into this cannibal fantasy. Now, there used to be a website called Cannibal Cafe, and we've talked about this website before. Of course, there's the Cannibal Club of LA, which is all wealthy people and movie stars and what have you.
It's where you can get placenta lasagna.
Yes,
Delicious.
ground human. It was
slices of placenta.
It was people burger lasagna or spaghetti or something. It was rough. We got in trouble for that show, so don't look for it on YouTube because it won't be there. But anyways,
we didn't make the cafe. Why are we getting in trouble about talking about it?
We're not supposed to talk about their friends and cohorts on this show. Anyway, so he goes on the Cannibal Cafe. And, okay, so he put up an ad that said, looking for a normally built 18 to 25-year-old to be slaughtered and then consumed.
That is not an ad you would want to place just anywhere.
It makes you wonder, is there a lot of those ads on Cannibal Cafe? Would that be a common thing? Or would you get on there and people would wonder about Long Pig? And
am I going to be on an FBI watch list?
The web page is gone now, so they took it down shortly after this. So he's on there, and he gets a lot of responses from people that were teasing him. No one was really either no one was serious or no one had the normally built part, and finally, he gets a message from a guy named Bernd Jürgen Armando Brandis.
Bernd Jürgen?
Bernd Jürgen. So, man, I did not stumble through that much at all. Huh. I'm pretty good at German names. Anyway, so Bernd was a 43-year-old engineer from Berlin. So he answered him back, and they started chatting and kind of come up with a plan. So they met up, and they went to Armin's house. And the way it's explained is Armin, they called it a winter garden, and it was the street side of the house, like out the front door. And Bert went and stood right in front of the window and started like getting naked. So Armin hurried up and pulled the blinds. And then, Bert was a closeted homosexual that up until like a month before had a live-in girlfriend for 9 years. But when he told her that he was attracted to men, she left him. So he might have been in kind of a tragic spiral at this time, which is sad. But anyway, so Armin mentions he admired his athletic body and things like that. So he comes over, undresses. There's not a lot of what happened right after he undressed. Did they romantically engage with each other at that time or not, or anything like that? But after that, they go to what was called the slaughter room. And it was a bedroom that was kind of an attic type bedroom, not a dressed up one.
Okay.
And, I got to go back. Right after they met, they went and got some painkillers. And after he undressed, Bernd took all of the painkillers to kind of deaden it. And Bernd had talked about how he wanted to feel extreme pain. So that's why I think he was kind of in like a tragedy spiral from his breakup and his closetedness and everything else. Just if you got homosexual latencies, just do it. Don't cover it up. That doesn't sound like
don't choose to be eaten.
A fun life. But anyway, so then they go to the slaughter room. He ties him to a wall, and Bernd is saying that he's not passing out yet. He's still feeling it. So Bernt makes a request. If you have a sensitive stomach, now is the time to listen to something else. At Bernt's request. Okay, yeah, he swallowed 20 sleeping pills and a bottle of cough syrup. So he was tired, but he wasn't passing out, and they were hoping to. So at Bernt's request, Bernt wants to feel the pain and enjoy a piece of himself with Armin. So he requests that Armin
No.
remove his penis.
No, I knew you were going to say that.
And they eat that
You have
together.
all these other appendages. Why that?
So Armin attempts to bite it off. I'll let that one stew for a minute.
Oh my God.
So picture Armin doing one of those teeth grindy things, you know, the back and forth. And it's not biting off. It's hard to bite off. And Bernt is probably the pain is deadened a little bit, but he's still feeling this.
It can't be.
There's blood everywhere and whatever. Public hairs tickling Armin's nose. Whatever.
I can't.
So he's not able to bite it off. So he goes and gets a knife and cuts it off, and Bernt wants him to fry it up.
Is he just like bleeding out this whole time?
I don't know. So, and it was Bernt that wanted him to bite it off, but he couldn't.
Was Bernt alive to tell this story?
They videotaped the whole thing.
Holy.
They videotaped from like Armin asked him, "You want me to eat you? You want me to kill and eat you?" And the guy's like, "Yeah." And then he took the drugs. And then, so they've got a videotape start to finish on this.
The poor guy that had to see that.
So he took the penis, and Bernt tried to bite a chunk off after he cut it off with the knife. And apparently it's hard even when it's not on your body to bite chunks of
Phallus.
Penis off. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I imagine it's chewy and like a chunk of grizzle. Anyways, probably like a big blood vein. Like, you know, when you get those really big ones, like a good half-inch around in the cow. And it's just, you're welcome, Betsy. Anyways, so then he took it down to the stove. Armin did. Split it in half like Mom used to with the hot dogs when we were little. Remember how they'd always cut them in half? I think so they cook quicker. I don't know why they do that.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, you cut them in half and then you fry them. He did that. And he fried it in a pan with salt and pepper, wine, and garlic. So he
is refined.
I'm telling you, what's that cooking guy that yells at people all the time?
Chef Ramsay.
Yeah, Ramsay wouldn't have had much of an argument with the additions. He then fried it with some of Brandis's fat, with Bernt's fat. But then it was too burnt to be consumed. So then he chopped it up into chunks and fed it to his dog. According to court officials who saw the video, which has not been made public, Brandis,
thank God.
The police have sworn they are putting this video under lock and key and never releasing it. So I don't know. I kind of want to see this video out on the world, but I don't ever want to see it, you know?
Personally, no.
Brandis may have been too weakened from his blood loss to eat any of it because Brandis wanted to eat some of it before he died. So then, you know, he's like, I'm not feeling good. I'm not, you know, whatever. So Armin ran him a bath and put him in the bath and then went to read a Star Trek book while Bernt was trying to bleed out in the bath, and he'd go in and check on him every few minutes.
I love that they include that the book is a Star Trek book. Because it's completely irrelevant.
But two people with this weird thing would read no other book.
Oh my
You must be clear on that.
It's true.
Anyway, so he'd go in and check on him, and so Burnt is laying in the bath just bleeding out, and he's kind of drifting and starting to pass out. Moose couldn't wait any longer. Armin couldn't. So after about, I think it was like 45 minutes, he went in there with the knife and stabbed him to death. Stabbed him in the throat, and then he hung the body on a meat hook. This videotape is 4 hours long.
Oh my God.
They've got it recorded
torture.
from prior to the drugging that the guy took himself to after the murder. Well, I should honestly say until after the processing
Of the body?
Yes.
Oh.
Processing is when you dress the animal down into its specific cuts of meat. Just to, hunters know what processing it is when you process the animal. But anyways, you can find 4 screenshots of the video online. Apparently, I haven't looked for them, but the credibility has not been proven. So over the next 10 months, Armin had been consuming up to 20 kilograms, 44 pounds
Oh my gosh.
of burnt. So if we boil that down over 10 months, he's averaging around 4 pounds a month. So what's that? Weekend meals like Saturdays is burnt thing. He ate them as steaks and roasts. And he would like to cook them with salt, pepper, garlic, and olive oil. And he always paired it. He liked South African red wine. And so he'd always pair it with South African red wine.
Oh.
Now I'm going to do a little side note for a second. Now, this is a weird thing. So remember, we tie it back to he had imagination of eating his imaginary little brother. So he's with him forever. In one of his interviews, and he's had many, you can go watch his interviews. He seems like a normal guy, non-threatening at all. He said that Burnt spoke very good English. And after he ate him, he could speak better English.
They say cells have memory.
I'm telling you, it is wild. So we're going to go into him being caught here in a minute. First, I want to talk about some news.
And I've got another one.
Oh, you found another? Let's just go right to your another one.
So, I'm going to start this with a quote. The texture was good. It looked tasty. There was a nice hint of spice. If I hadn't spent all day cooking it, I probably never would have guessed the sausage I was eating was made from my own blood.
His own blood sausage?
Her.
Oh, hold on. No, don't go. Why are we doing this today?
She had invited one of her friends over to try this meaty dish and served it up at a candlelit table with a side salad and a gourmet style bloody drizzle. They both agreed too much soy sauce, but otherwise tasty. Gwen van der Swan from the Netherlands tried cannibalism for the first time.
Was it her menstrual
I hope
blood?
not. She says, though, she's not Hannibal Lecter and no humans were hurt in the making of her dinner. She made the meal from her own blood, which was painstakingly drained into a medical bag that day. Why is my idea considered disgusting, but doing the same thing with pig's blood isn't? She asked.
Blood sausage is disgusting also. I've tried it. It is awful.
Yeah.
Oh, This is a whole show of this today, guys. I am sorry. Oh, so she drained her own blood. At least it wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
She drained her own blood.
Filled a medical bag of her blood.
And then got the sausage wrap. I think they mix in some fat and it's like corn powder or something, whatever. Oh.
So experts say that cannibalism is largely due to a need for power and leaves the person feeling euphoric. It's even been suggested that cannibalism can become addictive for a small number of people. Like a cocaine high, it says.
Cannibalism can be. I imagine if you're resorting to it, you've already crossed the line.
Oh. Hi, Angel. Thanks for joining. Oh, I can't with this show. We're sorry. Hi, Kendra.
Yeah, this is...
I warned, if you are preparing to eat or if you have already eaten, this may not be a good time for this. There's never a good time for this show.
Yeah,
just caveat that.
And we're not even done yet.
Because it's so much worse. The next news story is disgusting.
Betsy, take it away.
So there's no strange shortage of this creative and dangerous ways that people in third world countries employ to get high on a budget.
To get that inebriation going.
So, in most cases, they already combine stuff that they shouldn't. You know, like pure methanol, acetone, over-the-counter headache pill, crushed up mosquito coils.
What is that?
And even toilet cleaner. Those mosquito coils that kill mosquitoes, they eat it and then they die. They crush those up. So they make these intoxicating brews. However, and I'm going to caveat this as well, saying that it has been reported that they don't see this often. So we've decided that once is too many.
Okay. And it has been known about since what, 2014?
2014.
So
it's fine.
It's there.
Nothing to see here. So the kids in Indonesia have moved on to something new. And I don't even know if I can get this whole story out.
What do you think they call it? Let's ponder, or should we ponder that with the listeners after we tell them what it is?
All right. Let's tell them what it is. So they are, go up a little bit. They are using used menstrual pads. Yeah. So
they boil them.
So they collect them from garbage.
They make a tea, if you will.
Oh, whole new.
It's already got the string.
That would be tampons. So.
Oh yeah. They just stick it to the side of the cup.
Oh.
They boil it and drink it.
They boil the pads.
Remember the condom story? Indonesia is close to Vietnam.
They're messed up.
That lady, she had something like 400 kilograms of boiled and repackaged condoms.
So gross.
Then the breath test.
I guess, I don't know. I've never had to try to escape my life in a third world country, but I would like to argue that I would never stoop to that level. So they grab them. Most of these teens aged 13 to 16. They take them, boil them in water, distilling the chemicals and gels inside, and then they drink the tainted water.
So it's probably not the blood that gives it. It's probably... No. So they could
just buy
brand new ones. So it's the gel inside, the absorbent gel. So they would have a much better time.
Next is dirty diapers.
The best would
boiling, dirty, soiled diapers.
But they would get so much more of the chemical out of buying brand new diapers.
But see, they're the poor kids. They're already crushing up mosquito coils used. So this is where they get it, and they say that they get sort of high.
Sort of high.
Dude. I cannot.
What do we want to name this drink?
Aunt Flo's Revenge.
Red Stripe.
Oh my god. Oh, it just makes me sick to my stomach to think. I don't even like regular tea. That's like that's tea bagging next level.
Kendra, what do you suggest we call this?
Kendra, I want you right now to go shove freaking Q-tips in your ears to clean out this mess.
Oh, yeah, this one is beyond awful.
But it's okay because they don't do it often.
No, they don't. They don't do it often.
Nothing
they haven't found them to be doing it often.
That's right.
They haven't been caught often.
They haven't found any like big fill-up cups full of menstrual tea.
Maybe the menstruation adds
a hormone,
an easier flavor.
Yuck. Yuck. Yuck.
Takes the edge off the gel.
Oh, yuck. It's too gross. I didn't want to do this story. I said, I'm going to show you this story, but it's too gross. And he said, and I quote, "Oh, this is going on the show." So disgusting. So disgusting. Like, I want to adopt kids in Indonesia and send them cocaine.
You see every once in a while one rolls up to the top. Oh, it's got to be rough when you live in a third world country trying to keep up with the hype and the Joneses.
Don't do drugs, kid.
Okay. All right. Minute off of cannibalism.
Yes.
Decayed remains of cult leader were mummified by her followers and worshipped on a shrine. Amy Carlson's remains were found blue from decomposing. Her love has won cult followers had built a shrine for her decaying body with rotting eyes and wrapped her in lights.
She was on the Dr. Phil show. Ooh. Dr. Phil was trying to understand her. And there were clips. Her cult is called Love Has Won, but there were clips of her like completely demeaning her cult followers. Like,
oh, well, she's a cult
leader.
You're
a lazy piece of crap. Love Has Won. Yeah. That's the name.
Obviously. So, the remains of Mother of All Creation.
She was the mother. They called her mother. Yeah.
Were discovered in a sleeping bag wrapped in Christmas lights. Her eyes were missing. Amy Carlson, 45, was the leader of the Love Has Won cult, founded in 2005 and died April 2021. She claimed to have been reincarnated 534 times and lived the lives of Jesus.
Yes.
Marilyn Monroe and Joan of Arc. When her body was discovered, Saguache County Sheriff's Office were contacted by a former member. It appeared her followers were worshiping the putrid pile. I added that part myself.
She had at the height of her cult, 12 members.
Oh, she was making it big.
Yeah.
Well, 7 of the cult members were arrested after police discovered charges including tampering with deceased human remains and abuse of a corpse. It looks like the cult included 2 children. The charges were later dropped. I want to know how she died. She's awful young.
Alcohol abuse.
Was it?
Yep.
Ah, yeah. Alcohol abuse is a big killer. Is that her right there?
Yes. She's looking good. She looked like a mummy before she was a mummy.
How would you tell? That's 45?
Yeah.
Oh, she was a heavy alcohol abuser. She had the big joints going on. Oh my goodness, yeah. Her face skin seems like it's teetering on. That's when you've given up eating for alcohol. Ooh,
Yeah.
wow, that's rough. That is rough.
I want someone to worship me so much that they mummify me. I don't know if I would go with the sleeping bag approach. That seems seems kind of trailer trash.
I want them to worship me so much that they drag a 100,000-ton rock down from a mountain, say 80 miles away, and build a statue of a lion with my face on it. I think that'll do.
That'll be all right.
Yeah, that'll do. Hey, Maston, how you doing? Maston, you shouldn't listen to this one. This one's awful. You really shouldn't join in on this party. Oh, anyways, back to the story.
Armin, you sicko.
So Armin gets back on while he's still got, I mean, he's only been at Eaton, Brandis for 10 months. So he's still got a little bit of Brandis left, you know.
Well, yeah, because he's only eaten about 44 pounds. So I'd imagine that bones and organs and things, he's probably still got some left.
Minus bones and organs, he's probably only eaten, a third to a half of him.
Yeah.
So
don't tell me.
He goes back onto Cannibal Cafe and starts looking for more people. And someone on Cannibal Cafe notices this kind of repeat thing and backtrack. So he turns him into the police.
Thank God.
So the police go over to his house and they're doing a search. They're not finding anything, but they go in this freezer, like a deep freezer, and they open it up and it had a false bottom. So you know how in deep freezers, there's always kind of a step down in the bottom, and that's where the machinery parts are to keep it freezing.
The refrigerant pieces,
compressor and all that stuff. Well, off that step, you'd build a false bottom. So they dig down in there and they find the rest of the meat that he said was wild pig. That's what he told the police it was when they found it. They tested it, and it was definitely wild.
Brandis.
But anyways, so he gets arrested. He's arrested in December of 2002.
This is a short time that all of this transpired after his mom passed away. Like
we're talking 2 years he went into
off
this.
The edge.
Oh, yeah. And then the police found the videotape.
Oh my gosh.
So Meiwes is arrested. He goes to see a psychologist. He's diagnosed with schizoid personality, but deemed fit to stand trial. They don't know what to charge him with because Germany hasn't faced this problem before.
There's no law that you can't cut off someone's...
Well, there's a law, euthanasia, that carries a 5-year term, but that's not enough for what he did.
That's not enough. But is it?
They really...
Because this guy agreed.
Yes, but they really can't go for murder on him. So they try him. It kind of gets a mistrial, so a retrial, and he gets found guilty of murder, gets sentenced to life, and since then he's had many interviews. And when you watch interviews, you're like, I can't believe it. He seems so normal. While in prison, Meiwes has since become a vegetarian. And he believes there are about 800 cannibals in Germany.
Okay. It took him basically 12 months to find someone who would come over.
No, it took him 12 months to get in the mindset to start looking for someone, then find someone, So it was quicker.
So I would argue that that's probably a low estimate.
Yeah. And it says that his ad was up for only a few months.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So he probably spent the first few months just hanging out on there reading stories, you know, probably people's creepy fan fiction or something. So he had a retrial in 2005. They argued that he shouldn't have been found guilty of murder because he killed for sexual gratification.
It's not murder if you killed for sexual
I
gratification.
don't know if that makes it worse or not. I don't know which way they're going with that. But it was a prosecutor that asked for the retrial. I think, and I don't think Germany has
laws on assisted suicide.
Well, they do. They have a 5-year term if you
5 years
if you do assisted suicide. But I think they don't have capital punishment in Germany. But I think the prosecutor wanted something heavier, even if it's just on paper, to make sure he never gets out.
Obviously, he's a threat to society.
But nowadays, he's still in prison. But he's
a vegetarian.
Public release.
What?
Yeah. He it's not even work release. He just gets to go out in the public like twice a month and walk around. And 2 police shadow him.
That is a colossal waste of money.
That is nothing compared to what Canada does. Remember the guy that beheaded the guy on the bus and ate him?
Yeah.
And Canada gave the guy like $1 million, changed his name and moved him. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
But he videotaped the whole thing. And
what was his intention for the videotape? Do you think it was so that in the event that he were ever caught, he could say, I didn't?
And you notice there's no...
Or do you think he watched it over
I think he did that to protect himself. But or it might have been pornography form. But you notice there's no speculation. In any of the trial, there's no speculation.
Is there transcripts of the trial that you can read?
I didn't see any. But I do know that they had... I think they had 14 jurors, maybe 12 normal and 2 alternate. Germany has something different. All of them have had to go to therapy after being jurors because they had to watch the tape.
No.
Over and over and over again.
They should get criminally held liable for damaging those people's brains forever.
Oh, I think so. But could you imagine watching the tape, the part where he's in the tub and Armin walks in, you know, checks his wrist, walks back out, and you hear him in the other room. Oh, Spock. And then walks back in 15 minutes later and walks out.
So it says that Meiwes is allowed sunglasses and a cap so he isn't recognized as he walks through towns. Oh my God.
Yeah, he's just out and walking and cruising about.
If I ever see somebody being followed by a couple of police officers, I'm going to know.
How wild is this, though? I mean, it reminds me of Hannibal Lecter, you know, when they're sitting there and she walks in and he's got her boss's skull cap popped off and he's frying up some brain. And then feeding it to the boss. And he's like, oh, that's pretty good, you know, or whatever. It reminds me of that, how he took the guy's phallus and tried cooking it and feeding it to him.
So he's quoted to say, oh my gosh. Let's just say I have experience. In any case, you wouldn't be the first. 23, that's an optimal butchering age. The body is just matured, but is still very tender. I cannot. What a sicko.
Oh,
He's broken. Totally broken.
I think it's wild. But here's what I want to ask. So do you think that this psychopath was born or made?
So I've thought about this a lot. Is it a genetic factor, or is it pressure from your environment that...
Or is it a combination?
Yeah, I believe that's probably the clearest answer, is that if you have A over here, you're genetically predisposed and you've got whatever's missing or an overabundance of, and then you add a splash of this and a splash of that, the concoction becomes Armin.
Well, we all know people who have like depression that runs in their family.
Yes.
And multiple suicides. And I think,
yes.
And my honest opinion on that is, like, if you're looking at a family who has a line of depression and suicides, that they compound. So like if your mom commits suicide, you're more prone. And then that
Yes.
doubles it for the next line
Yes.
and then triples it for the next.
So you have the depression. So you have a predisposition to being clinically depressed, and then you have this legacy trauma of suicide in your past. So, it compounds.
So I think that's a part of the depression you're born with, but the environment extremes it. And I think with him, he was born with a little bit of oddity, but that his dad leaving, so all he has is his mom, no siblings. I think that
only child, probably super lonely.
Yeah.
Had difficulty fitting in. He became a computer nerd. Oh, that's not helping.
No. He became a computer nerd in the 90s.
Oh.
A computer nerd today is perfectly normal, perfectly healthy. In the 90s, that was
weird.
Definitely on Wednesday. Definitely on Wednesday.
Definitely Wednesday.
But so I think that being alone, raised alone, growing up alone, compounded maybe an underlying issue he had, where it started with the imaginary little brother who then, for whatever reason, maybe like the Drop Dead Fred left for a weekend. So he thought, I'm going to eat him. So he can't leave. And I think that started.
You ruined Drop Dead Fred for a lot of people in that little sentiment.
Process.
So Kender brings up a good thing. I also think it could be demon possession at times.
Oh, it could be. Now, if go to YouTube and watch the interviews and videos with this guy. He seems like a nice, normal guy in these interviews.
Yeah, so if it was a possession, would the possession then leave, or is it like an incognito possession?
Or does the demon go to prison too? It's like, shit.
Yeah. And then if we think of
Can
the
demons
entire...
come and go?
Well, if we think of the entire world as an exchange of energy, if you have this flood of negative energy, it would literally possess your cells, your everything, your energy.
Mm-hmm.
But then you would need a flood of euphoria by eating some other man's dingly ding dong.
No. You said that wrong. By sharing with some other man his dingling ding dong.
Yeah. And then your energy's set right.
His pus sausage.
Oh. I cannot.
And the biting it off thing, that laid bare.
A little harder.
I'm trying.
He's grinding his teeth. Pulling at it.
I don't know why they didn't do the oysters with it. I mean, not for the story part, but it just seems like you would. What are you barking at?
Yeah, like why would you separate the two?
The guard dog is going off, guys. Yeah. You know?
They're a pair. They come together. It's a trio.
A trio, yeah. You cook the wedding tackle all at once. I don't know. That's an odd one. I mean, that's just my thoughts. I am
It's disgusting.
intellectually and by training as far from a PhD in head shrinkery as anyone can get. Again, we've talked about this many times.
I'm super interested in it, though.
IQ of, what did we say last time?
I'm going to test you.
51,
You say
52?
51, but I'm going to test you one day.
I'm
IQ tests
I'm
are
afraid
almost
to.
unbearable.
I'm afraid to IQ test because right now I'm hoping 51.
You would be way higher than
I'm
51.
I'm worried that I'll be on like one of those old 1940s U.S. Army videos, the functional retard.
What if these things, these evil things, are like little seeds, and if you, like, maybe we've all got these little seeds, this capability, but we just don't water them.
What this reminds
we
me
intentionally don't water them. What if you water them? You become Armin.
what this reminds me of is Ed Gein.
Yes, the nipple belt.
Mother, living with mother. All the neighbors loved
Single.
loved Armin. The neighbors loved Ed Gein. They would have Ed Gein come over. He was like
And
their
babysit.
He was their babysitter.
Yeah, you got to be thinking about
Living
your
on a
life
farm.
choices at that
Mom
time.
dies, and they slip.
I want to reach out one more time. If Ed Gein babysat you, I just want to talk.
They would be in their 90s right now. That was in what?
If Ed Gein babysat your grandpa,
What was that in 28?
I just want to know.
Yeah. I want to get like an Ed Gein hat, like the Elmer Fudd hat, and you wear it crooked and off. Dude, we should be, I think I'm going to be Ed Gein for Halloween.
Most people wouldn't get it.
That's a good point. We'll
Yeah.
need a special belt.
So it says some evil people can be made due to a brain injury.
That is very true.
depending on what part of the brain gets
Look
injured.
at that wrestler, the football players that all have killed their
So-
children because of TBI.
So in that case, is it evil? Because evil feels like it should have intention, where a TBI or a brain injury of some sort feels like a response to injury.
An internal chaos struggle in your mind.
Yeah.
And that they finally said, and I'm not justifying them. I still think
I mean, it's awful, but is it evil?
is it evil? Like that one guy who killed his wife, killed his son, then killed himself. The WWE or F or I don't know what the Wrestling Foundation is now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh.
Like that horrible.
Chris Benoit.
Yeah, Chris Benoit. Like the horrible story in Grantsville, that 14-year-old killed his whole family.
Oh yeah. They think that had some tie-in with TBI?
Well, they are exploring. He has pled guilty.
Mm-hmm.
So in this particular story, this family lived in our hometown.
Yeah. I lived close to a couple of our friends.
Yeah, it's a small hometown. So
Yeah.
he came home from school and systematically killed his mother, his brother, and his two sisters.
Yep.
And then he
With
waited.
like a 22 rifle.
Yeah. Then he lied in wait for his dad to get home because he was going to kill him as well. His dad either manhandled the gun or jumped out of the way and ended up getting shot in the leg.
Mm-hmm.
And he pled guilty to 4 counts. He was charged as an adult. He pled guilty to 4 counts.
The kid was what, 15?
14.
14.
He pled guilty to 4 counts of murder and 1 count of attempted murder. But his sentencing phase won't be for a little bit. And one of the talking points that they're bringing up is mental illness. That the family had, and the family didn't live. They lived very insulated. They didn't allow the kids to take part in anything outside of church function.
Well, let's face it. Mental illness is there. If you're killing, mental illness is there.
Yeah. So,
you don't have to go out and prove it.
But is he an evil kid, or is he a mentally ill child who did evil things?
Has it come out what his trigger was to cause that?
He's refused to speak. At his trial,
Maybe
the
we
only
should-
words he said were guilty.
Maybe we should get some used tampon donations and get him some
We got to
some-
come up with a name.
some public lubricant and get him loosened up to talk about it.
Angel, why are you guys no longer doing your YouTube live shows? You know, we kind of switched back and forth. We were missing some target audience on YouTube, and then we're missing some target audience when we're doing Facebook Live.
It's my fault. I'm going to get the program so I can do both at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm going to get that. I've just been kind of lazy, and I keep
No,
promising
you've
next
been
week.
so busy.
I've been super busy, but so I am going to get it. And we go on vacation next week. So when I get back, I think we're going to get it, and we're going to get to where we do Facebook, YouTube Live, and might even try BitChute Live or something. I've got to look into more, but we're going to try to do them just live. One, I can be even lazier when I do it that way because I don't have to post later.
Yeah. And we're gonna next week we're gonna try to bring you some spooky content from
It'll be
from haunted places on the way.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, Angel. I just got to get this stuff together. It's just a front end work. And again, Betsy says I'm busy. I say I'm lazy. There's probably a mix of the between.
He's busy.
And high Q of 51.
He's working on it.
We got to go slow. I mean, literally, we have to have I need a teacher to guide my hand.
Yeah, we're missing King. We're missing King being here on Facebook Live, but we get to visit with Kendra. So
yeah,
and Angel, you found us.
Yeah,
excellent.
And we weren't getting Kendra
on YouTube Live.
YouTube,
So we've either got to get everyone together, and like come to an agreement.
Yeah.
Or Jared's going to have to be less
let's just face
busy / lazy and make it happen.
Jared needs to quit being lazy and get his head removed from his fourth point of contact and start doing it right.
Angel says, you guys need to do a show about the many UFO sightings that have been happening. We do, because did you see that for the first time ever, NASA recorded something exiting the black hole?
I saw that.
This is after CERN fires up. Now the black hole is spitting things out.
I said
the nature of black holes is they don't spit things out.
I do believe there's gamma ray releases from black holes. Again, don't ever quote me to smart people. You'll look dumb. But they do have explosions every once in a while.
Yes, but this looked solid.
It did.
Yes, jalapeno beer.
I do need to make some more jalapeno beer. Yeah, we do need to have that. We need to get a hold of James and have James give us a little rundown on the stuff.
He would know.
Yeah.
He's got it all laid out, timelines.
Yeah. When stuff happens, I'm sure someone at NASA calls him, and because he's knee deep in that UFO stuff.
James is our guy.
He's our cat.
He's our cat.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm really weirded out by, I heard about this story back when it happened, struck my interest, but there weren't podcasts back then. This was like 2006 or 5 when I heard about it. But it is wild that this is a thing.
It's a thing.
And I'm sure it's not the only time this happens.
Absolutely not.
Well,
it brings to mind Donna Reed party. It brings to mind the what are they called? Where if you eat people, the old Indian.
Oh yeah, the Wendigo.
The Wendigo brings to mind all of those things.
I've got a story for you real quick. This will be our closer.
All right, let's hear it.
You know Jameson whiskey?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever heard about what he did?
No. Maybe.
He bought a slave girl.
Oh no.
And gave her to cannibals so he could sketch
what
they did.
What?
I'll leave you with that. Look it up.
Disgusting.
All right, everyone. It's weird how we used to not see people as humans in the past.
Yeah.
I'm glad you know what? I'm glad we're having political arguments now versus whether that human over there, because they're a different race, is not a human.
Yeah, it's good discourse.
I would rather
it doesn't
argue,
go places. It doesn't go to a definitive end in most cases, but it is good discourse.
If we could boil down to the correct and incorrect way to hang toilet paper on a roll and make that our dominant
solved
discussion on Earth, that's when we reach world peace. problem is nobody goes mullet. And as long as nobody goes mullet, we have no one to argue with.
I still sometimes hang it that way just out of spite.
Just to spice it up.
Just to be like, stick it to the man.
Stick it to the man. You know what? We should start doing that. Going to like government buildings and swapping their toilet papers around.
Gross. There's a vegan place that's making human flavored burger. Okay, we got to look that up.
Where's this at? Vegan place making human flavored burgers.
Okay, that's got to be our closing story because that's disgusting. And who does? Don't tell me how they come up with that, because I still don't understand how the Jelly Belly Harry Potter beans. Who came up with how to make the flavor of vomit?
I've wondered that. Okay.
And sweat socks and grass.
Plant-based burger.
Oh, there it is. Vegan burger hyped for tasting like human meat. How do you know? Oh no.
This one's coming on the screen.
That's so bad.
Make it a little bit bigger.
Angel, I like the cut of your jib, but that's a really gross story.
Oh, that is awful.
Okay. Vegan burger. Go back up. I need to read that. No, wins hyped for tasting like human meat, wins an award.
You win the People-y.
Oh.
If you've had the desire to taste human flesh, you've now got the chance to give it a whirl between buns.
No.
Swedish plant-based food brand Oomph
created the unusual flesh-flavored burger. Won a silver brand experience and activation lion at the Cannes Lions Festival. No. No.
If you're concerned the special edition bizarre meat may not be realistic enough, do not fear. A spokesperson said they've done their best to make sure it's as lifelike as possible, crafting it from soya, mushrooms, and wheat protein, as well as plant-based fats and a mysterious spice mix. It's called famunda. Despite the apparently eerie similarity to human flesh, the spokesperson assures no humans were injured in the development of this product. I've got a question.
You want to know how to get it?
Who knows what humans taste like for the comparison?
Yes.
Is it common for people to know what people taste like? Because I have no clue what people taste like. Not a clue.
So their advertisement, released on Halloween Eve 2021, shows a dimly lit hallway with a figure walking towards a doorway, cutting between clips of a cook preparing some meat, and rows of knives before plant-based human flesh flashes up on the screen, as well as "Be scared and relax." No.
How do you know what people taste like? And first of all, they haven't figured out how to make plant-based burger
taste like burger
yet.
But now it can taste like human.
It just tastes salty all the time. It's always too salty.
I can't handle it.
I like the name of the company though. Oomph. Oh, that is wild, guys.
No, go back.
Uh-oh. What'd you see?
We developed this burger in no time as soon as we knew what taste and texture we were after.
How do you know taste?
No. No.
But
no,
this might save human lives. If there's cannibals out there.
Or it might interest people in trying actual human.
But if there's cannibals out there, the cannibals, like, say if Meiwes could have got his hands on this.
He would have still done it, because for him, it wasn't about the taste of it. For him, it was the power and the sexual gratification. You don't get that from Oomph.
No one says he can't have a little soiree with the meat before he cooks it.
Gross.
I read a book. I read what is it called?
So Cannes Lions is the company. It's scary because it's in New York and California. It's just a sick joke, 100% from the cannibals. I can't with this.
So I read The Righteous Mind, right?
Okay.
And he had questions that he'd ask to kind of gain where people are. And one of the questions was, is it wrong if someone buys a chicken breast and has sex with it before they cook it?
Well, first of all, why do you need to know the answer to that? And second of all, it's yes. The answer is yes.
Who's being violated?
Yuck, the person who has to eat it, he's violating himself.
See, that's the thing. And that's kind of the question.
The chicken's already dead. It's been violated.
Now, would it be a fun gag?
No.
To buy this burger and serve it at a dinner?
Well, I'm sure the burger's awful. So pick people you don't like.
But something to think about, yeah. And then there's the LA Cannibal Club. I mean, look up their stuff. They've got recipes on how to make placenta lasagna and ground people spaghetti. And then you get looking into...
And they try to keep it very legal. So if you...
And upbeat.
Yes.
And you can donate your body to them.
They say that it comes from donations.
Mm-hmm. So was his dinner.
Donation. Yeah, I would think that the donations that the Cannibal Club receives are already freshly deceased from other reasons.
When you see who's on the Cannibal Club, that's when you get a little freaked out.
Yeah.
That's when you get a little freaked out. But thanks for joining us, everyone.
So gross. Have a great week.
Have a great week. Have a great dinner. Kendra,
Yeah.
what are you making for dinner, Kendra? Are you making steaks?
Kendra.
Is it a roast? That's just insane. They're trying to legalize
sick eggs.
Yeah, and they are.
It's called watering it down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who the hell donates their body for someone to eat? Ew. True. Good question. I mean, I would have to say after I'm gone, I really don't care what happens, but I would hope that I'm not donated.
Everything is for sale. I think on that show I said, you give me $1 million, I will sign a contract that my body's yours when I die.
To do with it what you please.
Whatever you want.
Yeah, I guess
Having beer for dinner. Now remember the Indonesian beverage they make.
I would hope it doesn't taste like beer. Sick.
Have a good night, everyone.
Have a good night. Ugh.